Well, good evening, good evening, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining this Thursday evening, this Thursday, which is the 19th of the 2nd, 19th of February, 2026. We want to thank you for joining, and for those who are joining me on YouTube, those who are joining me on Facebook, those who are joining me on TikTok, those who are joining me on YouTube, welcome. Well, it's another evening talking about what is going on. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, there's always something new happening in the UK. As a matter of fact, there's always something new happening in the world. And there's one thing I want to do. I want to just check to make sure that I can be heard clearly. One, two. And okay. One thing I want to do. Fantastic. Great that I can be heard very clearly. The big thing actually today, the big thing is about not Prince Andrew Mountbatten being arrested. And what I call it a royal arrest, another scalp. Yep. Hi, Belinda. Hi, Mel. And another scalp by Epstein. And when we think about what's happening there, for argument's sake, you realize, why did they go after Andrew? Why did they arrest Andrew? Why was it invited to bring in Andrew? But the whole thing regarding Epstein, when we think about it, is realize that there's something, it's like a dam is going to be broken. Like a dam is going to be broken very soon, where a lot of names are going to be called. And I guarantee you this, I can tell you this, I don't think anything going to come out of the Andrew thing. I think all that's going to happen is the fact that they are trying to prove the point that no one is above the law. What do you think about that? Yeah, no one is above the law, because if, this is my view, if Andrew goes down, a lot of people going down now. It's going to be a domino effect on the whole thing. You know, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, arrested on 19th of February 26 today. 66th birthday. Would you call it one of those days that you can say you knew where you were when that happened? I remember when Princess Diana died. I remember I was living off Barry Road in Dulwich, East Dulwich. I remember it was in the morning in the UK, and I was watching the TV when it happened. Yes, I remember that very clearly. I remember when September 11 took place. Just came back from Jamaica after I got married, but my wife over. We're moving in, and we saw the television, and we saw the screen where that plane went in, and we said, wow. And I said, wow, it's a cool movie, until realize that it wasn't a cool movie. It was actually something real. But is this something of a big scale? Because this is something where it is stepping into uncharted territories, uncharted waters, right? And this is his 66th birthday on suspicion of misconduct in public office. And this is it, misconduct in public office, not about the sexual allegation, because he was like a trade envoy and maybe sharing some very secrets with Epstein. So it is misconduct in public office in a major police probe linked to newly released documents from the Jeffrey Epstein files. Thames Valley Police detained him at his home on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk and carried out searches at his Norfolk and Berkshire addresses as part of his investigation into whether he shared sensitive official information during his time as the UK's trade envoy and other alleged misconduct. Similar something to Peter Mandelson. I guess we are waiting for Peter Mandelson to be arrested as well. The arrest marked an extraordinary moment, that's what they said. The first time in modern history a senior member of the royal family has been arrested in connection with such an inquiry. There were days ago, hundreds of years ago or so, there's an off with their head. I remember when Boris Johnson was the mayor of London, and I went to this event, and he was there, and he had some real traditional English guys, and we're there, and it's off with his head. Anyway, TikTok, please. That's just a joke, okay? Don't bother censor me. The first time in modern history a senior member of the royal family has been arrested in connection with such an inquiry. And it comes against a backdrop of decades of scrutiny or his association with Epstein. Nothing about the sexual allegations. Okay. Andrew has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. However, he's out now after approximately 11 hours in custody. Andrew was released late Thursday evening today under investigation, meaning police have concluded the initial detention phase. But the inquiry continues and no charges have yet been filed. He was seen leaving Aylsham Police Station in Norfolk and has returned to private life while the case progressed. Buckingham Police confirmed that King Charles III expressed deep concern but stressed that the law must take its course, and said the family will cooperate fully with the authorities. The continuing investigation keeps intense public and media scrutiny on both Andrew and the broader Epstein file revelation, with legal and royal watchers closely watching how the situation unfolds. Well, that's one of the main things we're going to talk about when I bring in Gary. But also, I'm going to talk about Black History Month in the UK. It's in the America. Jesse Jackson passed away. God rest his soul. The UK political climate is things are going all over the place, getting splintered. Look at the major U-turn again by Keir Starmer. We're going to have the election for 30 English councils, and UK unemployment rate is up by 5.2%. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to talk about, and I don't know how much we can delve into anything, but let me just get working, because I've got to get Gary on. Because Gary, ladies and gentlemen, Gary knows everything. He's a master. He knows everything, and I just want him to actually explain what is really happening. As a matter of fact, the reason why he's late, I thought I couldn't see him. Maybe it's because maybe they arrested him by mistake. I don't know, but let's talk about it. Man, I was doing the electric boogie a while ago, the dance, Gary, are you frozen? Are you frozen, Gary? Where are you? Okay. Are you there?
I hope I'm not. No. I hope I'm not.
Well, it's better you're frozen online than frozen in quarantine or something like that, because
I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I haven't been arrested yet.
Listen, listen. Last week you weren't here. And my colleague Aaron was here, and I know you tried to come in last minute, but I said, listen, if I bring in Gary, the show won't finish. Gary's going to cuss and said, you guys you need more time for the show, Gary. So listen, Gary, what's going on? Every week I keep saying to people, all right, if you come on the show, I can't tell you what we're going to talk about in advance, because right now what we're talking about is Andrew. What's your take on this? Andrew Mountbatten wins. Am I getting a feedback?
I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah.
Are you?
No, go ahead.
Are you getting a feedback? No. Yeah. I just think that it's sad. I feel sorry for Andrew. Really, Andrew. I feel sorry for him, even though he hasn't been wise in his living. Really, the decisions that he has made, he kind of connected with, and really, they were bad choices for him. And I do suspect that he doing even week. I think it was on Newsnight.
With
a couple of
Emily.
Years ago.
With Emily. Gary, I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor. I'm gonna ask you to wheel and come again. You can come out and come back. Okay, let me see. Are you there? Okay. Yeah. Gary, you're being frozen a bit. Gary, you can't hear me. I'm gonna ask you to gonna ask Gary to come to reel and come again. Michelle, what go on? Well, say Michelle. Michelle, you need to come in and talk about what's going on. Is it a distraction, Michelle? Is it a distraction? What does that mean? You know the funny thing about Andrew Mountbatten and what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole thing with the pedophilia. I was speaking to a cousin earlier, and we draw the conclusion that when she said Seymour, which is my middle name, or in Jamaica, I said, do you know a lot of these pedophilia things were happening in Jamaica when we were going to school? Because when we were going to school, York Castle, St. Hilda's, Westwood High School, used to have big men them used to come and drive up and pick up the girls them from school. Girls used to go into buses, and they would sit at the front. The gear sit between their legs. And at that time, we never thought of it as anything, really. Never thought of it as anything, really. Until you come to the UK and realize that, damn, those guys were pedophiles. Some guy, because these girls, when we were in high school, they were not more than 15, 16. Not more than 15, 16. So what is happening now, in the sense whereby even lots of people are turning up their nose and say like this, it's like, hang on a second, the pot calling the kettle black at the same time. No, I have no sort of sympathy for anyone who abuses statutory rape or whatever like that with young people, young girls. And also, even if they're of an age of majority, but at the same time, if they are being, trafficked, then that is so wrong. Thinking about it, seriously. And it's very interesting that the charges is nothing to do with the pedophilia, nothing to do with the sexual escapade, because Andrew has always said no. But it shed a light on a bigger thing. It shed a light on, as I kept saying the other day, what else, as Michelle would always say, what else is happening in the world? What other plans, what other decisions are being made that we are not privy to? Because there are lots of things that grabs the attention. Because right now, Keir Starmer will be, in a sense, not happy about what's happening, but anyway, it takes the pressure off him. It takes the pressure off persons who are maybe in trouble in some respect, politically or whatever like that. It takes the pressure off, because now the whole world is upon the eyes on Buckingham Palace. The whole world eyes is now upon the Queen's son. The whole eyes is now upon the King's brother. The whole eyes is now upon the heir to the throne uncle, right? And that's something which is major, which is happening. And I strongly believe, and as we all will say, that no one is above the law. But one thing that has come out again is about the Nolan principles. Activities are so in public life. And that is where the arrest is taking place, to deal with a little bit of accountability, transparency, selfishness, honesty, and those things in public life. Somebody was actually saying the other day that maybe the Nolan principles should be entwined or enshrined in law and not just as guidelines, if anything. However, what they've said is that this particular arrest or this particular area of law is very difficult to prove. Very difficult to prove. And that's why I believe that what is happening is to show that no one is above the law. No one is above being scrutinized. And that is why they're going to take Andrew through the mill a bit, and he's going to go free. And nothing's going to happen to him. Trust me. I believe that nothing is happening to him. And yes, I think the Queen is going to come back next week. Queen Elizabeth must be saying, there's some videos going around with Queen Elizabeth. She must be saying, "Why you guys don't know what to do? I'm gonna come back." You know. Michelle, I think I sent you. I sent you the link. I sent you the link, Michelle. I sent you the link. Sent you the link. Oh no, I didn't send you the link. Gary, you're back. You're back, Gary. Are you back, Gary? Yes. Can you hear me? Gary? Can you hear me? Gary? You're not speaking. You're not speaking, Gary. Michelle, I sent it to you now. I sent it to you. I sent you the other thing by mistake. Yeah. So that is what I'm looking at in a sense. And Gary, I can hear you, Gary. You're not speaking. You haven't said anything. You haven't said anything.
Okay. I couldn't hear you till now. Couldn't hear you till now.
Yes. Okay, you can speak. We're gonna take off your picture. Sometimes it works out better that way. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Michelle, what's up, Michelle? What's going down?
Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing today?
Cool in the Malibu. You're coming to take us into the States. Oh, somebody said, oh, they're gonna come to England because things are crazy. Things are crazy in the USA. But no,
yeah, things are crazy over here, and things are crazy over there too. Okay.
So,
well, at least they're getting some things done over there. They're taking some people away. Ain't nothing happening over here.
Yeah, but ICE is there. ICE is taking people away.
No, I ain't talking about ICE. I'm talking about this Epstein file. They are nobody. With all the names, nobody don't get no trial. Nobody don't get arrested. Nobody. And I just think that's the way it's just gonna go.
Gary, let me see if Gary is in tune. Gary?
Yeah, I mean, what was the question? Hi, Miss, how you doing?
Hi, Rev, how you doing?
Not bad. You okay?
Good. Yes, I'm good. Thanks.
Good.
No, sorry, Gary, what you said?
No, go ahead.
No, what I was saying was talking about you never got a chance to sort of open up on the Epstein bit and with Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, and with Michelle is right here. My sort of opening, I was talking about that this is like a smoke screen trying to prove a point, but nothing's gonna come out of it, because if anything come out of it, a lot of people are gonna come out of it, Michelle. It's gonna be a massive domino effect.
Well, that's how come it's saying nothing not gonna come out of it, because everything that happened is mostly the 1%. Okay. And who are the 1%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gary.
Yeah, I think some big names is going to be dropped soon. I mean, there's a few like probably like Trump. Trump, we know, was there. Branson is his name has been mentioned. The Clintons, their names have been mentioned, but there's a lot more. I mean, there's a lot more.
Even Whoopi Goldberg name has been mentioned.
Yeah, even her name has been mentioned. So,
and I think what's happening is that even if at that time, even if you go in and you check the thing, your name is up there. Your name goes up there. But it's nothing is going to come out of it. Nothing. Even to them, I say them Obama did up there and all they must say he wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the boys.
What I don't understand that.
Okay.
You said it. That's what it is. Okay. All right.
That's what it was saying. But I know they're just throwing Obama's name in there, or whatever. But I don't know. All I know is nothing is going to come out of it here in the U.S. It's all cover up. Everything all just when you're here, it all just die down.
Because apparently the police and as I mentioned earlier, the rationale of the arrest had nothing to do with the sex and allegations on all those sort of escapades and pedophile issue. It's about information that he had disclosed during when he was an envoy. He was a trade envoy in the UK.
Right, and he was giving away
Yeah, key
info. So
information.
what you're saying that the arrest that happened wasn't about the pedophile stuff. It was
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
See? You
yeah,
see? The whole
yeah,
of them in it. The whole
yes,
of them.
yeah. So what they say, it's investigation into whether he shared sensitive
Information.
official
Security
information
information.
during his time as UK trade envoy and other alleged misconduct. Arrest marked. So it's like a big thing whereby they're trying to prove a point, I believe, that no one is above the law. But guess what? The Queen paid some money. Prince Charles paid some money for that issue with that lady who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So that's why they say she's rolling in her grave now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
And nothing gonna come out of it. Cause you know see what I'm saying, what I get them for. Fair trade secrets or whatever
yeah,
information.
yeah.
It's nothing about even what happened, because
Mm.
it was even like he unalived somebody too.
Who is that?
The Prince, wave I name.
Is it?
Yes, a little girl. It was all on a video.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh
That
wow.
she was unconscious and she was laying down and he was over her and.
Oh, you mean that picture there which has been shown?
Yeah. Well, them now say them and nyam and I eat and a nyam and a nyam.
Okay. Okay.
And what they have over here, uh, um, wasn't the what they call it? This the jerky, the jerk. What they call that? Some kind of thing that the American them eat. One like a Slim Jim. Like what them call it? Jerky.
Okay.
Some
Not
kind
jerk,
of jerky thing.
not
You
jerk pork
know.
or jerk chicken, no? No.
No, it's like a long.
Or a twisty thing like.
Yeah, but it's like a meat. I mean, I don't know if it's some kind of meat business. I mean, I don't know. I forget what I'm call it. This,
Mm,
and they kept on. That was what they referred to the kids as. How it they taste good and how it tastes good smoke and all and thing. There. I tell
yeah.
you, it's some weird. They're weird, 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 weird people. Them.
But it shows at the same time that the world is somewhat so very interested in uh, I don't know, is it that they're interested in a resolution and something to come out of these things, or are they interested in the sus?
What do you mean by they who?
People generally interested in what's really to come out of it, mean to say they want to find these persons um
Oh yeah, well they have protests going on. They protest in front
in the
of Donald
states.
Trump Hotel the other day. Big protest say that he should be impeached, and he's in the Epstein. There was a big in New York City in front of the Trump.
Mm,
Plenty people that out there, and them a say, Mar-a-Lago, them a get forgot to,
yeah.
because they
Okay.
saying he should be out, and but it's coming from the top.
Mm.
Palm Bondi, the FBI, the CIA, ain't nothing gonna come out of it.
They're not really interested in it in a certain
All of
extent.
them are involved. The whole of them involved.
Because what they're saying is that Epstein was a guy, was a wheeler dealer. He was
Yes,
like in the
yes,
center of a lot of
yes,
things.
yes. He used to work with the
CIA?
CIA.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we try to distinguish and sort of scrutinize, like, what is misconduct in public office? Misconduct in public office is misconduct in public office. You can have
That's
something,
it. That's
you know,
it.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about the files, but about how they operated themselves.
And,
It's
and that's the way they have been operating themselves. Still, this is what I always say: different
structure.
parties, same system.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
You go in there and think that you're gonna change anything. You ain't changing nothing because it's already written. The agenda already is there. Out of floor and out of the. When you come in, you have to follow where them I tell you for follow, and that's just it.
yes, yeah.
That's it.
because what it says, misconduct in public office, especially this one, is a really complicated offense. You know, it
Mhm.
boils down to an allegation that someone who was doing a job on behalf of the British public did something seriously wrong, knowing it to be wrong,
Well,
right?
exactly.
And they said there are four elements of factors that police must focus on during their investigation so that prosecutors can later decide whether or not someone should be charged, right? Is it firstly, the police must establish whether the person they're investigating was a public officer and the incident in question was plausible part of their duties. If that's agreed, detectives will then look for the evidence that the incident in question saw the suspect willfully neglecting to perform their duty or willfully misconducting himself in some way that the worded definition has long been a source of legal debate. And the next question is whether the action they committed was so bad that it was an abuse of the public's trust. And lastly, if the evidence has passed these three tests, police need to examine whether the person under the investigation acted without reasonable excuse or justification. And the final question is crucial, is a fundamental principle of criminal justice that someone suspected of wrongdoing is given an opportunity to put forward their side of the story, and that starts when the police come and knock on their door. And just like what I'm, because you know, when they came for Prince, Mountbatten Windsor, his security guys also was driving behind him. So I guess when he was in prison or so, his security guys are there with him. You know?
Well,
Yeah.
you see all of that when I'm talk about is it this and is it that. The whole thing is all messed up. All of them need to go jail. Me not think them need to go talk about you have to go this and yeah. So
Mm.
what? They don't get the FBI the FBI files from here. They don't read it. Or them have to get for them on in a UK.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that what the police is saying that they should stop sharing certain information because the police want to get, and then it's the reason why maybe they latched onto something in the
But this is
Epstein
bigger
file.
than police.
Mm,
That are
mm,
bigger than police.
mm, mm. Our Naomi Campbell was also in the thing as well. Gary, are you there, Gary?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Mm, mm.
It's bigger
So
than what we agree. I think there's a as yourself and Michelle are saying, I agree with, and it's big. It's big. This thing is big, and nothing. I think that they're going to find. I don't think that that Andrew's going to go to prison. I don't think so.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
don't think he'll go to prison.
And
They're
if the
making a
American people let that happen, the world, me no know, the world just messed up.
mm,
The
yeah.
power of the people is more powerful than the people in power. If everybody can get together and say, hell no, them up, it couldn't happen. Can't
mm,
happen. Them
mm.
have to go put some people in a jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the president coming down, I'm sorry.
And what about and they also talk
And
about the
even him wife too.
mm,
Can you hear what I'm saying?
what them say?
Upon Lolita, him get him first piece from her.
Okay. And
Okay?
yeah. And
On
and
Lolita.
the Clintons as well. It
And the
says
Clintons as well, the whole of them, and
mm,
the Pizzagate party. You remember when the Pizzagate party did come out? That was a pizza shop in Washington D.C. that they usually have traffic the kids in.
mm.
Hi, Jalen.
So do we see somewhat like a little double standard there when it comes on to people like Bill Cosby, um, people like P. Diddy, people like R. Kelly, they get done for very quickly. But in this particular case, you're not seeing it happening. Let me
I
What
mean,
was
see.
I
that?
mean, I mean,
Hello?
what do you? What do you really want to see? What do you really expect? You know.
Well, very interesting what you say. What do I expect? I think what you're saying there is saying you're asking the question, what do you really expect? I mean to say, now go on. Or are you trying to say that we are supposed to be expecting a level of equality in justice, whereby, as someone said, I think it's Vita on TikTok, racism at the same time,
Yeah.
because what you're not seeing is a level of intensity. Because if it was some black persons involved with all of these things, they go for them and show the book at them. But what you're seeing right now is something which is emanating, and as a lot of the top persons around the world, I mean, we're talking about, come on, man, you talk about the ambassador, the ambassador from the UK to America in his underwear, you know what I mean? And think, well, of course, people take pictures, they shouldn't take pictures, but all of these things which are happening, the file which shows so many information. And as Michelle, as you said, nobody has gone down. Of course, Maxwell's daughter is there, and Epstein was arrested. So one could say that
And they're
Epstein,
saying that Epstein is still alive in another country.
well, they said P Diddy, not P Diddy. They said Tupac is still alive. They said Michael Jackson is still alive. They say all of these persons are still alive. Michelle, isn't it? Some, yeah,
You'll be surprised that
yeah,
the government have a lot of cloning going on.
yeah. Somebody said this is America. Beatrice said this is America. Is that so, Michelle? This is America, the land of
Welcome
the
to
free.
America. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess we watch your space to see. Well, I watch your space because I personally believe sometimes these things are distractions that try to take us off course on and some bigger things could be happening um out there, and we got to be careful and be mindful of these level of distractions at the same time. But I believe that a lot of these ladies who were in the Epstein file, some of their faces came out, some of them were disclosed as to the, the fact that they're in there and they're feeling a bit chuffed by the whole thing. But as I said earlier today, this is not strange in different worlds where you got pedophiles when we're growing up in school, big men, involved with little girls as well,
Hmm.
you know. And that's why even in Jamaica they're talking about where is that um, list? Where is that? Where is that list? Where is that sex offenders book or so? Is it there or not? Sorry, I've got to draw the parallel right there to a certain extent. Very interesting, you know. Very interesting. Very interesting development, guys. But Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is back at home now. He must sleep in her bed. And the lawyers sort it out. You know? All right.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he won't see a prison door. He won't see a prison gate.
mm,
I think. Listen, you mentioned about you mentioned some names like what's his name? Cosby and such.
yeah.
But Ghislaine Maxwell, the father, they didn't like the father because he was going to be on the investigation for missing money. So they will lock up the daughter.
Uh,
Remember, back I think it was it the late 80s 90s when her father was being investigated for some millions of the pension funds.
mm,
I mean, they didn't like Robert Maxwell, so
yeah.
and so they didn't get to lock him up, but they will lock up the daughter. Whoever the establishment does not like, they will try and hurt the the family.
Mm,
Well, and just like the Cosby. But when you got people such as Epstein, who is mixed up with Epstein and all of that. Nothing's gonna come out of it. Some big names they've redacted because why? Because they don't want the names to come out. So I think society, well, not so much society. There are powers and there are powers, and there are some influences out there that will not allow certain names to be released. It's just and if some are such as Andrew, they'll do whatever they need to do to get Andrew off because he's not going to go to prison.
Well, you don't see that they redacted the perpetrator's name.
They redacted the perpetrator's name. Who's that?
Yeah, all the perpetrator's name was really redacted, and they put in the names of the girls that got scraped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did. They redacted all those names. A lot of names they redacted, and when you look, you see the victim's name show up instead when it should have been the victim's name that was redacted.
Right.
Before we go on to this, go talk about Jesse Jackson. One of the things though is, which is very interesting about this whole thing, is if Andrew is being prosecuted, it's gonna be R versus Mountbatten Windsor. It's gonna be the king versus him. That's how the system is. It's gonna be the king versus him. Regina versus or Prince Andrew or Mountbatten. And you know that he's still 8 in line to the throne. You know that. That still exists.
Yes.
Yes, he's still 8 in line to the throne. He's the king's brother and the next king's uncle. Queen Elizabeth favorite son as well. And that's why they said this is uncharted waters. That's why a lot of legal scholars are looking through this, but uncharted waters. If it's a situation and he's convicted, they're going to look at all these things. If he's convicted, for argument's sake, is he still heir to the throne? Will that something be cut off? Just like how they're actually, I think they've taken away the peerage from Peter Mandelson, and also for another person. They're finding ways how to cut them off. If anything, will we see a turn whereby the king actually sanction, because they remove his title, but he's still the queen's son. He's still Prince Andrew, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. That he won't see prison. He's not going to see prison.
Yeah.
It's on. I don't know. I don't know if Charles really should treat him that way.
But is it Charles treat? Is it when you say Charles treating him that way? Is it Charles treating him away, or Charles have to go a line? The king is somewhat in a ceremonial position to a certain extent, isn't it, Gary? Michelle, we're talking about some US thing, some UK thing here. It's a ceremonial position. The prime minister or the government write the king's throne speech. My government is gonna. The king don't write it, or the queen didn't write it. Is it the government write it? The king has powers still, yes, but it's now by virtue of convention. So it is like the king have to recognize that his position is untenable to a certain extent, whereby lots of Republicans are out there who are wanting to get rid of the royal family, and that is why they're looking at a clean slate with Prince William, because Prince Charles III, King Charles III is, people have their issues regarding Diana, and blah blah blah. So it's like one is looking to see King William in a way, to try to have a clean slate. That's just a thinking, really, you know, as well. But anyway, Jesse Jackson, the late Jesse Jackson. Michelle, what is Black History Month like in America?
I don't celebrate it. I'm Black History every month of the year.
We have Black History every month of the year.
Black every day.
Mm,
So I'm gonna use 28 days out of the year to celebrate Black History.
yeah.
I celebrate my history every day.
But in relation to what it means at the same time, an opportunity to place emphasis, isn't it not something worth while?
Well, that's American stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
American.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And it's a lot that, you know, people don't read and research and do stuff. Jesse Jackson wasn't all that either. I mean, I want to talk about the man because I'm dead, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
we don't talk about keep hope alive.
him have seen reasons why I'm the one to keep the hope alive.
Gary, your thoughts on Jesse Jackson?
And Dr. Martin Luther King
Yeah,
Jr. too. What
yeah.
of them?
Well, you know, when there are different pictures which are going around with Jesse Jackson at the same time. There are pictures
Yeah,
with
they're saying that he said he was there when he was right next to Dr. Martin Luther King when he got shot.
mm,
But when I seen videos, I went back in and I looked at many videos, and
mm,
it was Martin Luther King, we forget the name of the reverend that was there, another guy, and then Jesse Jackson was far over to the right.
yeah, pointing up.
Right. And then when the shot ringed out, you hear that him go rub himself up in the blood.
Well, yeah, there are lots of different things there. Um,
But I'm saying that he wasn't directly next to Dr. Martin Luther King when the shot rang out.
mm.
He wasn't next to him. If
Somebody
you
just
look at
write
the
about
videos.
somebody just write a foolishness, Michelle. I like your redirect, Seymour. She don't celebrate her birthday once. You don't celebrate your birthday once a year.
It's a
Um,
birth date. It's not my birthday. I'm not
okay,
born again.
okay.
It's a birth date.
Someone said she's one of those that don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Kiss me.
Mm-mm. We don't celebrate that either. Mm-mm. Read
Yeah,
the history of Valentine's Day.
uh,
Okay. We don't
yeah, yeah.
celebrate that either. It's just what, like my granddaughter say, just a
Mm,
little extra love today, mom.
mm. The world has
That's what
lost
my
one of it.
granddaughter say.
Yeah,
Okay, we're not gonna, but it's just we're giving extra love today.
yeah, yeah. The word is that the world has lost one of its most enduring voices for justice and equality. Reverend Jesse Jackson, a towering figure in the American civil rights movement, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 84. His family confirmed that he died peacefully at his home in Chicago, surrounded by loved ones, after a long battle with neurological condition. Jackson's life was rooted in activism. He marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King, led the Rainbow Push Coalition to expand economic and political opportunity, and twice run for the US Democratic presidential nomination. Wasn't successful, but they said he became one of the first Black Americans to mount a serious nationwide campaign. His work spanned decades. You know, I would say that Simon Woolley from Operation Black Vote was very integral. Um, Jesse Jackson was very integral in movements of Operation Black Vote, and I was a product of Operation Black Vote, where it was trying to get persons of black and mixed race, or I don't like to use the word minority, ethnic minority. I don't like that term. I just say black people, to get involved in politics, and that was where I started off in shadowing a few MPs here in the UK. And Operation Black Vote was something which helped to stimulate black people to get involved in politics. And I believe right now, even the words by keeping hope alive, those are very serious words, you know. I believe that this is a time whereby, and Michelle, even in the States, that people need to, especially black people, need to step up to the plate and be politically astute, you know.
Well,
Gary,
listen, it's a lot
Michelle,
going
yeah,
on over here with black people right now
yeah.
because you have the FBAs. I don't know if you ever the FBAs,
What's that? What's that? What's it? What's it? Yeah.
the fundamental uh, the found uh, the fundamental Black Americans.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of it. You heard of
Foundational or fundamental? No.
fundamental Black American,
Okay. Okay.
right? Because they don't want to be called African Americans.
Okay.
They want to be called Black Americans.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a big thing going on now here in the US with them and just black people because the FBA's think that the immigration thing is too much. Us islanders need to go back to with Ireland and the Africans them need to go back to Africa.
Really? So you see, have so born Americans, those who have been there for years, are really becoming ICE.
The ones them that's born here as well. They're
Yeah,
born here,
that's what
born
I'm trying to say.
Americans.
Yeah, the ones that become
Them a
born
go
there
by
are,
them call it lineage or something like
yeah.
that. They're going by. But it's a whole thing now. So it's like black and black against each other right now.
Mm.
Hmm.
That's very interesting, and I believe that it is such an opportune time now for black people to really pull their socks up and really work strategically together, as ever, as much as possible. You know, whether they are um, born in Africa, born in the Caribbean, and they come together and understand there are differences, and definitely there are differences. I understand that based on, you know,
But
some. Yeah, go on.
FBAs are saying that their lineage don't come from Africa.
So where they come from?
Okay. That is what they're saying. Them for them lineage that come from no Africa. They're American and them this and that for them generation is American. They don't want to hear you say nothing about no Africa.
Really? We call them FBA.
FBA. Look it up. The head of it that but they try to say he's not the head. His is called Tariq Nasheed. You ever heard of him? Tariq Nasheed? You must
Yeah,
hear about Tariq
yeah, yeah,
Nasheed.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Fundamentals? What fundamentals? Black.
Black Americans. FBAs.
Hey.
Look up on it. Um they're all over
Yes, yes, yes,
Noel's page.
yes. Fundamental Black American FBA is a
Mm.
term popularized by
Yeah,
political
years we know about them.
Tariq Nasheed. It refers specifically to Black Americans whose
Hmm.
ancestors were enslaved in the United States, meaning
Mm.
descendants of U.S. chattel slavery,
US shit, chattel
rather than
slave.
more recent Black migrants or first generation Americans. So what they're doing is separating,
Hmm.
and
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 that's
that
what we call him. He's a divider.
and guess what? Other nationals and other races are going to look and say, let them go and divide themselves,
Hmm.
and let us pull together and let us take
Exactly.
over. The
Because I'm
FBA,
saying to them, I'm
yeah,
asking him because he was on Noel show and him come up because the FBA's them they come in and them are go at Noel and them are go at Islanders them and and so I asked him, so what do you think when you say that immigrants should go? We're all immigrants here, really,
yeah,
because America built off our immigrants back.
immigrants, yes,
Okay, them
coming
no
from
want to
Africa,
hear that. You
sometimes
can't tell
slavery.
them that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nothing. Immigrants don't have nothing to do with whatever, whatever. So I had to ask them. So when you think that you chase out immigrants, black immigrants, because of the black immigrants you focus on, what about the rest? That is
yes,
from Sri Lanka,
yes.
all them the European immigrants. Why do you not say nothing to them? But you not say something to the black immigrants them?
I want to say, I want to say to a couple of persons here, or even in the states or whatever. It is called. Thanks, Michelle, for saying this. Fundamental Black Americans FBA. Just type it into Google and check it out, even on Chat GPT. a term popularized by political commentator Tariq Nasheed, refers specifically to Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in the United States, meaning descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, rather than more recent Black immigrants or first generation Americans. But what is failing to be said right here is that those who were enslaved in the United States came from Africa.
Right. And this is what we're trying to tell them.
Yeah,
You can't
because
tell them that they call you what's their word that they call us? Thought Thoughter or thoughter or something
slave
like that.
baby,
They
slave baby.
huh?
No, 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 not that one. Mm.
Yeah, something like that they call us. Your something they call us.
Yes.
Hmm.
FBA movement argues that this group represents a distinct lineage within the United States and should receive specific reparations and
Reparations, that's what they but Tariq Nashad, me not see him up in a Washington. He not do nothing.
yes,
All he do is come on and divide a black America. That's all he does.
right. And
Because
what is
I don't see them up
yes.
in Washington trying to get nothing done for reparation. I mean, I see them at talk up. I mean, I see nothing. He came, he said he was building a Black America museum. Probably you could look that up too. I don't know what that is. It's like a bar and a this. And people put their money into that. Black
Mm,
folks.
really? So therefore, and what is really needed as much as possible, I believe, at this time in Afro Caribbean, Afro nation is really a united factor,
A united, yes,
unite.
exactly.
Because even with what is happening now with Epstein and so like that, as somebody would say sometimes, Black people don't get distracted. Focus on building
Mm-hmm.
economic clout.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on
But
building
still,
your
But
yes,
oh, go ahead,
sorry,
Earth.
but still,
yeah.
remember, remember what you said earlier to me is that what you've been finding out since you've been on the road and such, and you've seen it now. I think you're seeing it more now than at any other time in
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
your political life and social life, and what you've been doing is that everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody wants to be the leader, and
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
you see
And
the
what
thing about
and the thing about it, what a lot of Americans don't realize is that the Europeans are the one that give us our leaders all the time. We never pick our leader yet. A them give to it. And them
But
tell we that this are our lead, this Jesse, this is our leader. That no, black people no pick them. And them give with leaders them all the time. Well,
would you
Americans.
would you want to would you want to resonate that with Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey?
No, well, they were me believing in
Self-made.
my Marcus Garvey, but we chosen. But what I'm saying is that most of our leaders that you see them have all Reverend Sharpton, that all of them need to go in a barrel and roll out a sea.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them.
Mm,
Crumb, the whole of them. We talk about them a civil rights lawyer. What I want to know is where's the human rights lawyer? Forget about a civil rights. Human rights is what we should be looking at.
yes, yes,
We know
yes.
we you look in if you look on Google and you put in human rights lawyer, you know what kind of lawyer come up? Civil rights lawyer.
Mm, mm, mm.
And it's two different things.
I
So
mean, I
Gary,
think
yeah,
I
go on, Gary.
that the aspect that I'm talking about really is that there isn't, you see, all the older leaders of yesterday are now coming off the scene. They however they came up, they're coming off the scene. I understand what Michelle is saying, of how they got there, but in getting there, they amass some sort of credibility amongst their communities. There is some credibility about them. Everybody may not accept them, fine,
Mm,
but they've
mm,
got credibility. At the same time, what I'm recognizing here, what I'm clearly recognizing is that there is absolutely no one that can step up and fill the shoes of those who are coming up the scene. So I hear what Michelle is saying, that all of the guys that she had mentioned, she's living in the States. She's seeing the situation, she's feeling it and such. So we can't really say anything about that. So we can't really say that because she's there. We are just looking from the outside in, she's looking from the inside out. So she
Yes, I
understands that.
am. I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader.
But what is quite clear though, what is very clear to me anyway, is that these guys are moving off the scene. They've been involved in whatever has been going on over the years. But there is no one in our generation. There's nobody. Now there are many. I mean, for instance, you talk of Ben Crump. You can bring Jamal Bryant in it, Reverend Jamal Bryant. You can bring other guys in it. But are these guys credible as the Jesse Jacksons? Could you really look to them and say,
listen, I'm not going to put down Jesse Jackson because he did his thing at his time. In his time, he did it.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not putting him down because he did what he did. He did what he did. Yeah. Martin Luther King did what he did. Malcolm X did what he did. And there are others probably in the you've got Andrew Young. I don't know if he has died. But
I think he's
still alive.
He was on the platform. He was on that balcony with Martin Luther King.
Yes, I think he was the one that was standing next to him.
Mayor Atlanta.
These guys did what they did, and kudos to them. All right, I have nothing to say against them. What I am pointing out, and I want everyone to be clear with what I'm saying here, to listen clearly, that there is no one in our generation that there are plenty. I wouldn't say there's no one. There are plenty of individuals. But which one of them really brings our community together? Yeah. Really? Who moves the community? Because when you see one spring up here, then you see another spring up here, then you see another one spring up, way down in the distance, and nobody works together. Just as
because everybody wants to be the head.
Andrew Young, Jesse Jackson, all of these, even up to a point, yes, just before he died, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King met together because they were going to join forces. Obviously, and sadly, they killed Malcolm, and then they killed King. So it's just one big mess now. One big mess. And what our community, both stateside as well as in the UK and Europe, what our community needs is a voice that will stand and everybody gravitates towards that. It can gravitate or that individual can galvanize the community.
Yeah, that individual can galvanize and not be penetrated, because that's what happened to plenty of them. Okay, they were penetrated via the CIA and those things. Okay, the Black Panther Party, them have somebody where they work on the inside. That's how come when they just get shot in a fiend bed. So, okay, so the thing is that money is the power. And from them say, all right, such and such, some dollar. Them switch and them. Okay.
Can I just share something also? Michelle, I don't know if you're aware, but like in the UK now, there's a shifting politically out there. There's a new party which is called Reform UK, which is a spin-off of Trump, Nigel Farage. And the map is increasingly becoming fragmented beyond the traditional Labour and Conservative axis. Reform UK under Nigel Farage, evolving into one of the most prominent challenges on the right. It is Originally founded as the Brexit Party, Reform has expanded its appeal post-Brexit, winning council seats and increasing its presence. Its platform on immigration, welfare reform, economic change has resonated with voters disillusioned with conservative, leading to growth in polls and forcing both major parties to respond to its rise. However, internal tensions, and high-profile policy shifts such as welfare and equality legislation have stirred controversy and debate about its direction and coherence as a political force. But one of the things that I've seen is that while there's infighting and these guys are going backward and forth and they have their vision for whatever for the UK to restore the UK back to what it was and it's more anti-immigration. I believe, as Gary said a while ago, and as what you said, we are here bickering about ourselves, bickering about who should lead what. Instead, we should have taken this opportunity and pull together. You know, pull together. Because at the same time, another party called Restore Britain, launched by a former Reform MP, Rupert Lowe, are beginning to attract defectors and consolidate more hard right support, potentially join votes on reform. So you see, these guys are all fighting against each other. And therefore, we all look at them and like we're in awe, or maybe not in awe, and say, what's going down? But I realize that what we need to do really is to really pull together very strategically. Gary, Michelle, people.
I don't know. I mean, something has to take place. So
Yeah.
something has to happen. I don't know. I don't know what is to happen. I can't say. Not a. I'm not a political. I don't know. I don't
Pundit.
know if
Mm.
if I don't know if a political if a religious individual is out there that, because our community, no doubt, our community across the UK, and I would even say in the US, are very, very religious. And when I say religious community, I'm not just saying any type. I'm saying very Pentecostal or evangelical or whatever. But there is something about our community, again, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-American community, which is very religious. And I'm wondering, you had Reverend Jesse Jackson, you had a Reverend
Martin
Luther King. Yeah, you had a Reverend, even when you look at Malcolm X,
Malcolm X was religious. Yeah.
Was religious. He was a Muslim, so we have to probably include him. So there is some basis, some foundation there, for our community. And I'm just wondering, isn't there anybody across the Atlantic or even within our own respective communities, stateside as well as in the UK and or in Europe? We have to look at that across the board. Isn't there anyone in those communities that could stand to properly represent our communities, to bring our communities together? Because let me tell you something, we're fractured. We are fractured still. And something has to take place. Something has to take place in order to pull us together. And you are recognizing that, still. That's the first thing that you pointed out to me earlier today when we connected. You said that to me. So if you're saying that because you're seeing it, then what are other people like-minded like yourself or even myself? What are we saying? And as we've been saying in our shows like this over the past probably year, 2 years, is that in our communities, both in the States, the Caribbean, in the UK, in Europe, we have got very, very intellectual families, individuals. We've got people who have influence, business, in commerce, in science, We are not silly people. We are educated people. And what we do, if even I've noticed it in the UK here, we've got a lot of individuals who are brilliant at what they do. But what do they do, so to speak? Is either they step back and disappear in the woodwork, or what we do to ourselves is that we push them back. They do not stand, they do not bring themselves forward, and we do not allow them to speak. Because I'm telling you, there are some people who are far more intellectual or far more an orator in various areas of us of how they can speak and explain themselves more than me or more than you. And I think it's sad that when we have individuals who can really put the argument properly for us, that they are just disappearing. And I'm not saying those in parliament or as politicians. I'm not looking at politicians, because even though we have politicians from our community in politics, I don't know if they're really doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not convinced. They're there, and I appreciate that it's hard work to be there. I appreciate that. But we've got so few there that they're not really making the impact that they should. And even when they are there, you know, they're not really coming out. I don't know, sir. I'm just probably talking too much here.
Well, someone said a while ago that they step back, they start off and they step back and so like that. But it is very clear, Gary. It is very clear. There's definitely a fragmentation, and people are a bit disjointed.
I mean, still, we have individuals, we have people, as I always say, we have individuals that can properly present themselves, really speak up, really present well. Even in the Christian community, we've got ministers of the gospel. Again, whatever organization that may be, they may be from the Church of England, I don't know, from the Roman Catholic Church, they may be from the Pentecostal or the evangelical arm of Christendom. But we all seem to speak very well within the four walls of our building. That's the only time we shout and make good points. That's fine. Do that and do it well, because you have a community there that you need to affect and influence. But what about the communities outside? What about the communities outside of those walls? Because at the same time, what we need to do as religious people, and as they would say, men of the cloth, which of course I don't really like that term really, but what we need to be doing is really coming together. Don't seek, we must stop the infighting amongst ourselves to say, well, I need to be seen or I need to be heard. If someone amongst us can just come out, well, they say that it's amongst equals, isn't it? What's the term? I can't remember the term. Amongst equals, but someone amongst a group of influential ministers, because our community, I believe, still looks towards religious leaders. I still believe that there is some respect, but we let ourselves down. Why? Because we allow our egos to get on top of us, or we allow our egos to get before us. And
you allow the egos to get in the way of everything.
Yes. We allow our egos to get in the way. Thank you, Michelle. We allow our egos, and we mustn't do that. And then from what I'm seeing and hearing, even from what's happening within the Christian community in the United States, when you hear of ministers of saying sexual assault, sexual abuse, financial abuse, you know, mental abuse, all the abuses that the ministers, that Christianity should be speaking out against, and they do. We then find that our own colleagues are getting mixed up in that. Now, what is the community supposed to think? Where is the community supposed to look to? They're just as confused as us.
Exactly. Yep.
They're
Yep.
just as
Because believe me, there's plenty of that are going on with the pastors here in Florida and
yes,
Atlanta, them places. May I tell you?
yes, yes.
Mm.
So,
Well,
so, so,
yeah.
as a rising star in the Conservative Party, and really doing what you're doing, I know whatever is happening, whatever is being taking place, is making it harder for you. But what you're probably what you're being tasked and will be tasked to do naturally is to say, listen, I'm not like that guy down the road, or I'm not like that guy in the party.
Mm.
I am
Mm.
Silborn Civil. So it makes it
Yeah.
more hard for you. Just like me. I would have to say, when they take the brush to whitewash me, I'm gonna have to say, well, I'm not like that guy. Give me a
Yeah.
chance. I'm not like
Yeah.
that many,
Yeah,
because
but it's not even about the people, Reverend Rev. You understand? It's not even about the people choosing. It's when you get into that life, the
Space.
politics life, it's who the ones within
yeah, yeah,
where you I forgot no fall under, fall in place.
right,
I'm
right.
telling you. So you might go in there with your
Good
you're going
intention.
there knowing that you want to do right for the people in the community and want to do that. But it's politics within the politics.
So what do you say is the way around that? Not being involved with the mainstream and so like that and
I
go,
mean, no for said tell you not.
because all that happens is then you get the rise of the person like Tariq. You fall in line with some
Well,
other
you
group.
see, it's
Mm.
it's it's on how you. uh, It's the individual on and it's in the individual of how why they chose to go into that. You understand? Some people just choose it for finance, and say, well, this and that, Then they're really going to it for the people to bring the people them, you know, to better. Them just going it selfishly for self.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Yeah.
you can't compare like you are Tariq Nasheed or them people. It's where you know you're going to it, but when you do get into it, is the politics that's played behind the scene after the fact. You understand?
Yeah.
You are going at it with good reasoning and why you think it should be done and this, that, But it's the people that within that no. Or you have to play your cards no, because I'm gonna tell you, and I say you say no. Yes or no, and I say
Mm.
no.
Mm. Mm. Very, very interesting, very interesting discussion and so like that. But it is something that will have to be, I mean, as we see this whole thing unfold with the different parties and with what's happening with um, Andrew Mountbatten, the Epstein thing, and you see you're seeing as a level of excellence of society which is happening there. I think it is very important that we really pull together as much as possible. Africans, Caribbeans, finding I like to say finding that common ground, finding that uh, common denominator, finding that black
And
energy.
it doesn't even have to be like somebody have to definitely think like you. No, it's
Mm.
just like your whole body, right? Your body have different parts. You have different organs. You have your liver, you have your that. Everyone is different, but each part plays its part for the
Yes.
other one for function. You understand? So people have to look on it too. You know, if
Yeah.
a think the kid did not think like the heart or the heart. Now, you know what I'm saying? They
Mm.
have their own function, but it's for one thing for the body. You
Mm.
understand?
Mm.
So people have to think of it too. We're going for one reason. When all of us think exactly alike, but you know that there's a part that you got to play to make it happen. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on this note, we're gonna wrap up, but I'm just want to play something by your friend Jesse Jackson, the late Jesse Jackson, and at Sesame Street. Remember Sesame Street? At Sesame
That's
Street.
too, you have to think about Sesame
Here
Street
we
for the
go.
kids them too.
I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be poor. But I am somebody. I may be young. But I am somebody. I may be on welfare. But I am somebody. I may be small. But I am somebody. I may make a mistake. But I am somebody. My clothes are different. My face is different.
Well, the only reason why I turn it down is that I don't get any copyright strike and so like that. Just play a quick bit of it, you know. But that's Jesse Jackson at Sesame Street years ago, you know. So we say have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Right? I'm gonna pop over onto TikTok, Michelle.
Okay, all right.
So that Gary, you need to come over TikTok, you know, Gary. You got to
Gary,
follow
don't load it. You know, me I think about deleting my one because there's too much going on with TikTok.
yeah, TikTok is becoming a different world now.
Yeah.
I realize I glean on it at different times, and I realize that people are still having political discussions about Jamaica still. It's still PNP and JLP. I just walk past these things, you know. But yeah, it's a good conversation, and it is something that we have to really focus on as much as possible and pulling together, you know. Gary, have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Michelle, have a good night. See you about
Good night, Rev. Good night, Phil. All right.
And thank you, Belle. Thank you, everybody from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Belle, and all the best. See you around. And until next time. I don't know. I might come on Sunday night. I'm not sure, but it all depends and so like that, you know. Anyhow, peace out. God bless. Bye.